Hello les amis, bienvenue sur la chaîne de Skole Gaming. C'est Moliane qui va faire du stream sur Vampyr pour le let's play de l'épisode 6. Bienvenue à tous, merci. Allez, si je me souviens bien, on avait quitté le cimetière, on avait vu la sœur qui était décédée. Et puis là, nous devions aller, je vais vous dire ça tout de suite, à Whitechapel, pardon. Ça dépend comment vous l'appelez. Allons-y. C'est parti. Ok. Il n'y avait rien. Rien du tout, ok. Qu'avons-nous là? Ah, c'est juste... d'accord.
And off to church he goes, a newborn seeking divine consent to lick the blood from the soft and pointy crown.
Who are you? Make yourself known.
Newborn, you reek of guilt and pointless compassion. Shed your skin, forget your old weaker self.
What do you want from me?
Skole does not approve of lone wolves who bring unwanted eyes to our pastures.
So your name is Skole?
Skole's will is vampire law. Learn them, abide by them, or I shall return as your judge and jury.
These immortals try my patience with their plans and unsolicited counsel.
Bon, ok. Le mec est venu me menacer. Je pense pas que dans l'état actuel, j'aurais pu le battre. Oui, ça c'est fait. Voilà. Normalement il devrait avoir des munitions, non? Même pas. Bon.
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted. I don't know.
May I help you, child? You seem somewhat perturbed.
I haven't the strength to cross the threshold. I wish to pray, to cleanse my soul.
The church is shut by order of the bishop. But I'm still the vicar of St. Mary's, if that is any use to you, my son.
You seem to me a good soul, Vicar. But this is a personal matter.
There are no secrets from God, my son. If your heart needs comfort, consider me your chapel. For I can be as silent as stone.
Alors, on a le choix. Mes mots sont pour une défunte. Je vous l'ai dit, c'est une affaire personnelle. Ce ne sont pas vos affaires. Qu'est-ce qu'on répond? On va pas être méchant avec lui, il est assez sympa. Allez, mes mots sont pour une défunte.
They're not for living ears to hear.
Your eyes burn with rage, yet I see the pain that lies beyond. I am here to lighten the burden of all God's creatures. Whatever you tell me is between us and the Lord.
Very well, priest. As you seem quite adamant.
Open your heart, my son. Tell me what burdens you. With whom do you wish to speak?
C'était ma sœur, sachez seulement que je tenais à elle, si ça ne vous regarde pas. Bon, allez, on va tout lui dire.
She
Donc
was
après.
my sister.
You seem so troubled by the loss of this girl. What happened to her?
Alors, elle a été assassinée, c'était un accident, elle repose à jamais. Elle a été assassinée.
She was murdered.
I see. And how are you feeling, my son?
Je me sens responsable. Elle est morte par ma faute et j'aimerais pouvoir oublier tout cela. Bon. Allez, on va dire je me sens responsable, on va pas lui dire non plus que c'est moi qui l'ai assassinée.
I feel responsible. The pain is consuming me.
I have a final question for you, my son. This is of the utmost importance.
Ask your question, Vicar.
What words would you like to say to your poor sister?
Alors, les réponses qu'on peut avoir, c'est je te promets de trouver le responsable. Ce n'était pas moi, je le jure. Pardonne-moi, je t'en prie. Allez, on va dire je te promets de trouver le
I'm
responsable.
so sorry, Mary.
Si jamais, les
I
amis,
promise to find who is
si jamais
responsible for all this.
vous voulez regarder les anciens épisodes de celui-là, ils vont être disponibles. Ils sont même disponibles sur la chaîne YouTube Skole Gaming.
If your words are sincere,
Vous les retrouvez facilement dans la playlist
and live
Vampyr.
your life in the way she would have.
N'hésitez pas à aller le voir. Si vous avez aimé ou si vous aimez, n'hésitez pas à mettre un petit pouce. Et si vous voulez commenter, n'hésitez pas. D'accord? Allez, c'est parti, on continue.
There. I confessed to that vicar. Do I feel better? Only time will tell.
Toujours bloqué. Ah, quoique.
I cannot
Ah ouais, non.
enter.
Toujours bloqué. Ok, ok. Ah ouais. D'accord, d'accord. Ils sont tous malades. Rhume, fatigue, amnémie, fatigue. 3 fatigues, ok. Je sais pas si j'en ai assez.
I'm cheap and I'm clean. I'm
Unable to see the true horror around you.
Good evening, Mr. Whittaker.
It's Father Whittaker, my son. So, are you still lost in your rational delusions?
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
If you propagate the devil's work, you'll perish by the devil's work. Such is the law of the Lord.
Alors, le bilan de santé.
Getting sick yourself.
Faith gives me all I need, my son. If I must fall, then so be it.
Allez, je te le donne.
No
C'est
doubt
sympa.
your faith will prevail, but let me give you some extra protection against the devil's work. Medicine.
Blessed be your generosity, my son.
have
Ok.
had enough for tonight.
On l'a soigné. Vaut mieux les maintenir parce qu'au final, ça va plonger le quartier encore en critique. Et puis je suis pas du tout prêt physiquement en termes de puissance à tous les affronter. Qu'est-ce qui me reste dans l'inventaire? Est-ce que je le vois là? Ouais. Ah voilà. Ah, j'ai de quoi faire pour le rhume. Pour la fatigue, j'ai plus rien. Pour l'anémie, j'en ai un. Bon. Alors regardons. Elle a le rhume. Je sais pas du tout où elle est. Rhume, d'accord. Anémie. Ok, je vois à peu près où est-ce qu'ils sont. Je crois pas que ce soit elle.
Change your mind.
Do you need any assistance?
Your money is the only thing I need.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
C'est pas du tout là où je pensais aller. Encore moins.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Est-ce que c'est... Non, c'est pas lui. Ah, il est là, lui. Ah, je sais ce qui lui est arrivé. Il en récup. Où est-ce qu'elle est? Oula, je sors du quartier. Ah, j'en ai trouvé une. C'est parfait.
Good evening, my dear.
You look ill. Well, there you have it.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Miss Wanderer.
Ok. Une en plus. Et du coup...
Turn around, sir.
Ouais, je me suis téléporté. Ouais. Sur combien là?
One of them. Die, vermin!
Ah d'accord, le chien c'est ça qui est au cimetière. J'aimerais retrouver le petit garçon là. Enfin, il est pas si petit, mais... J'avais dévoré son père, si je me souviens bien. Bah, comme d'hab, je me fais avoir par cette technique. Ah ouais, mais où est-ce que je suis là? Je suis ici. D'accord, comment se fait-il? Comment se plaît-il? J'ai plus d'endurance. Très bien, très bien.
This could be the box Lewis thought he lost. Huh. There's a letter inside.
Oui, y a rien ici. Allez, go. Je suis bloqué par ça. Ah, ça, tu vas me le payer. Voilà. J'avais ramassé, si je me trompe pas, une hache. Ça peut être plus utile. Peut-être elle est plus forte que la mienne. Ah, j'en ai ramassé quelques-unes. 110 dégâts. 99. Ah, je vais prendre celle-là plutôt. Voilà. De taille. Ok. Donc, 65. Je vais prendre celle-là. Allez, en deuxième arme. va tester, hein, on va tester cette arme. On va savoir si elle est bonne ou pas. Ah, je suis beaucoup plus lent. Ok, c'est parfait, c'est parfait. On est bon là. Je pense pas que ça serait aussi facile que ça. Il y a pas mal de choses à ramasser dans ce coin. C'est pas mal. Mais où est-ce qu'il est? Je vois pas du tout où est-ce qu'il peut être. Pas possible qu'il soit par là, je pense. Par là. Ouais, c'est pas grave, on va pas chercher pendant 10 ans non plus. Tant pis, et puis... Moi je l'avais dévoré par là. C'est ça que je voulais faire. C'est ça, voilà. Je l'avais dévoré par là, donc du coup il doit pas être loin. Il était là. Exactement là, ouais. Exact. Donc du coup. Il y a pas marqué les points des personnages sur la carte? Ça c'est un peu bête, ça je trouve vraiment bête. Ça nous fait que chercher. Ça récup. Il est là, je veux voir. Ah bah oui. Ah mais c'est de la fatigue, c'est pas de l'amnémie. Ah si. Bon. Dommage, il n'y a pas de sprint. Je vais pas le chercher pendant 10 ans, ça c'est sûr. Ah, il est là. Je trouve le moyen d'entrer. C'est là. Okay.
Good evening, Harry.
Sure. Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
C'est lui, exact. C'est bon, on l'a trouvé.
So,
I'm not bothered.
do you need any...
Yes, I do.
You'll feel better with...
I'm not...
Goodbye, young man.
Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
Allez, on va aller directement voir le professeur Edgar Swansea. Je pense que c'est comme ça qu'il l'appelle. Ah, il manque quand même le sprint dans le jeu. C'est important. C'est pas par là. On va backer un peu. Allez, lui, ça dégage. Ah, ça lui a pas fait de dégâts. Oh, comment je suis dégoûté. On va le tuer, lui. Allez, comme ça, il reste plus que lui. Bon, alors là, un sacré bug. Hein. Parfait. On est bon là. Ah merde. Bien évidemment. Allez, ultime. J'ai vraiment beaucoup moins d'endurance. Ah, ça il fera pas beaucoup de dégâts. Ouais, de la résistance. Ok, allez, c'est parti. Je le termine. Ça c'est fait.
fear be gone. I would harm no child of my making.
This is your doing. You made me this creature. What are you?
I am the land. You are our champion.
You selected me, chose me.
As shall my children yet to come.
What is it you seek?
This age is sickly. An ancient poison, an older rage, brewed in a cauldron newly forged.
This has something to do with the epidemic.
Seek truth, my champion. Defeat the serpent of knowing with iron spur.
I've had enough of others making decisions for me, pretending to know how I should feel or behave. So the vampire who made me is some sort of disembodied entity? Or was he just projecting this vision in my mind? Maybe Edgar can help me with this one.
Alors qu'est-ce qu'on a ici comme malade? On fait ça vite fait, bien fait. Voilà, on a de la fatigue une fois, mal à la tête une fois, mal à la tête 2 fois. Bon, ceux-là, j'arrive pas à les soigner parce qu'ils sont dans une zone, je sais pas comment y aller. Et mal à la tête 3 fois. Ok, pas de souci. 3 mal à la tête et une fatigue. On va essayer de faire ça vite fait, bien fait. Ça me fait de l'XP en plus et puis après on continuera la quête. On ira dormir d'abord et après on continue la quête. Alors du coup, on avait dit une fois la fatigue. Et bien sûr, j'ai pas de truc à la tête. Ok, tant pis. Tant pis, on va faire un peu plus de fatigue. On va en faire 5 qu'on est en stock. On va faire un peu d'amnémie. L'amnémie. On va faire 2, ça suffit. Sauf si j'en ai pas encore eu. Pneumonie, j'en ai pas assez. Et là, qu'est-ce qu'on a? Le rhume, j'en fais 2. Allez. Bon, allez. Voilà. Ça devrait suffire.
God protect us. You've got a leech in the hospital.
Yes, my hospital. My mission is to heal while you go about warring.
You've set the table for a snake. I wonder why there's venom in your food.
I'm growing tired of your song. You're a woodsman, McCallum, not a doctor. Return to your hunt.
Remember, I've a good nose for machinations. I can flare the scent at a mile. You can't hide from the god.
Leave him, Jonathan. This is sacred ground. Neutral territory. And I just had the carpet cleaned. By the sacred stole, this is very bad news. Bad news indeed.
What happened?
The hospital has been attacked. We have injured patients, at least one dead and several missing. This has spiraled out of control. Even the most infirm are asking to be allowed to return home.
Alors, on a quoi comme réponse? La confiance envers l'hôpital doit être restaurée. Personne ne remarquera quelques cadavres supplémentaires. Craignez-vous pour votre réputation? Allez, être gentil.
We cannot have the people lose faith in this institution. This hospital is their only hope.
Of course, you're right. But we cannot afford a public scandal. It would ruin us. We must restore order, and quickly.
You mentioned a dead patient. Who is he?
She, Jonathan. She was Miss Harriet Jones. I found her room like a slaughterhouse. Blood everywhere. The duty nurse is taking care of the mess.
Je vais vous aider. Je n'ai pas le cœur à m'occuper de ça. Je suis votre seul espoir, une fois de plus.
Very well.
Proposer mon aide.
Jonathan, please. I can't rely on anyone else. And this concerns you as it involves vampires. Someone has taken advantage of our more liberal tendencies here.
In what way?
Jonathan, I may turn my head when you or her ladyship indulge, but I will not allow this place to become a nest for street feeders.
Please then, tell me.
Sean Hampton, the man we thought we'd saved at the docks. It seems he was infected after all.
So Hampton became more beast than man.
Exactly. And now Guard of Prewen suspects the hospital of vampire activity. Do you realize what that could mean for us?
Nous n'attaquerons pas, je vous protégerai tous. Ils n'ont pas tout à fait tort. Bon, allez.
Rest assured, I will protect you and your staff.
McCullum is a fanatic. The Guard will stop at nothing. You don't know what they're capable of, Jonathan.
Very well. Since I brought Mr. Hampton here, I will put an end to this.
Allez, c'est parti. Je deviens de plus en plus un originel.
Sean Hampton lives and breathes for the well-being of his flock. There's no other place he would go but the docks. What on earth happened here?
Ah ouais, quand même. Je veux juste retrouver la personne qui a mal à la tête. Qui est fatiguée, pardon. C'est lui. Qu'on le soigne vite fait, bien fait.
My sweet girl reads me like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
I heard shouting coming from the first floor. I was asleep when it started.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
We may lack the resources, but we have some of the most...
Allez, on va le trouver. Elle veut pas que je lui parle. Pas du tout.
Hello again, Mr. Blight. I'm happy to see Mr. Thatcher is safe, for now.
I'm eternally grateful, Doctor. We were total strangers and you helped us anyway. Can't thank you enough, sir.
Do you need medical attention, sir?
Afraid so. In the war, I was always worried about picking up something, getting some infection. Unfortunately, got that fear in London now.
Throughout history, some diseases have done more damage to armies than any weapon created by man.
You are wise to be careful.
You're working at the Pembroke Hospital, aren't you? That's a good enough reason for me and Oswald to go there.
You are always welcome at the Pembroke Hospital. As a former officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Could you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it, you can talk him round.
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
What can you tell me about the war, Mr. Blight? If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon, but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we were in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
What caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
They started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips. I couldn't move. Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't. You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
On n'a plus d'indices sur lui.
Goodbye, Mr. Blight. Take care of yourself. Hello again, Mr. Thatcher. Do you feel any better now?
Yes. This neighborhood may stink of dog shit and reek of piss, but to me it smells like the purest mountain air.
Mr. Thatcher, do you have a job?
No. Since I came back from the war, I spent most of my time and energy just trying to forget.
I understand what you mean. I was a soldier too.
No. Nobody can truly understand what I've gone through.
Why were you locked in that sewer? What happened?
I went by the canal after an argument with a friend. Got chased by these fucking wankers and had to barricade myself in, despite my claustrophobia.
Tell me about your claustrophobia. Has anyone given you an official diagnosis?
That's what the bloody doctors said. But I don't want to go to a hospital to get checked again. I'll deal with it my own way.
Why did you run? What was the reason for your argument?
Newton wanted me to go to a hospital. I can't stand being closed in. Makes me feel like I'm suffocating.
Oswald, why did you not go to the Pembroke Hospital to seek medical help?
I don't trust doctors. All they care about was their careers and processes. I won't be locked in any room again by anyone.
Your fear of being trapped is not going to go away by itself. You need professional help.
I've seen enough butchers in white coats to last a lifetime. Hospitals reek of chemicals and death. What I need is fresh air.
D'accord.
Do you want to talk about why you have this fear of being enclosed, Mr. Thatcher?
No, I really don't.
An irrational fear like yours is usually rooted in a specific event. Perhaps it would help to talk about it.
Well, Doctor, take a guess then, if you're so interested in my case.
Alors, nous avons réponse. C'est la culpabilité du soldat, c'est à cause de votre enfance. Vous avez été enseveli. Bon, je pense que c'est là vous avez été enseveli.
When I rescued you, you expressed joy at seeing the sky again. So I'm inclined to believe you were trapped or buried somehow. Maybe during a shelling.
Jeez, you're good, Doc. You're really good.
Go on, please. Tell me more about it.
Newton and I were trapped in a circulation tunnel after an artillery attack. We were buried alive for several days without ever knowing if we'd be found.
Oswald, tell me about what happened when you were buried in that tunnel with Newton.
It was more than dark. It was black as pitch. Hours seemed like days, and days like months. Oh, the terror, the shameful thoughts. Lord have mercy.
Shameful thoughts. Tell me about them.
At some point, I don't remember which day, but when I thought we'd never be rescued, that this would be our end, I thought about...
Say it, Mr. Thatcher. If you ever want to heal, you have to say it.
Yeah, I thought about what I could do to survive, just for a few more days. I thought about killing Newton. Killing and eating him. The man I fucking love.
What you endured was terrifying. It would have completely destroyed weaker men.
It did not destroy Newton.
Tell me about your true feelings for Newton.
I love him. I'm not ashamed to say it. He's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Ah ouais, d'accord, il est amoureux de l'autre. Ok, pas de souci.
I admire your honesty. It takes courage to stand up to society. The world needs people like you to create change.
Courage is what we needed in the trenches, looking death in the face every day. I speak plain. I speak my mind.
Have you always been this straightforward?
All I know is, before you saved me by the sewer, my only regret was I wouldn't be able to hold or kiss Newton again. I love him, that's all.
Why should you be ashamed?
I'm not, I said. But Newton sees it differently.
Vite fait lui parler.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher. Hello again, Mr. Blythe.
Good evening, Doctor.
You and Oswald were buried alive during the war. Tell me about it.
Yeah. It was last summer. A shell hit our trench and we were buried for a week.
How did you survive for a week?
Luckily for us, there were rations and water in the tunnel. It was an outpost, see. Since then, Oswald's not keen on being inside for too long.
Oswald seemed far more traumatized than you by the event.
It wasn't the first time it happened to me. Surviving it again gave me strength. You believe that?
How do you feel about Oswald Thatcher? You are more than friends, aren't you?
I love him. I love Oswald. We knew we wouldn't survive the war without each other. But I am terrified, Doctor.
What frightens you so much?
What if people find out? Oswald says I'm ashamed, but it ain't that. It's more, well, you know, I never thought I'd love a man.
Maybe a time will come when you'll not have to hide who you are. But for now, I can only advise caution.
I know, Dr. Reed. Oswald wouldn't survive behind bars. I wouldn't live long if we were separated.
Désolé, je buvais un coup.
Goodbye, Mr. Blythe.
C'est important de boire. Comme disait Jean-Claude Van Damme. En disant il y aura plus d'eau. Alors c'est par où qu'on doit aller? exactement là. Il faudra que je passe par le pont. Ça n'aurait pas été plus pratique de passer par là? On va essayer. Merde. Ah ouais, ils sont plus haut level. Ouh lolo lolo lolo. Planquer un tout petit peu. Un peu les boules là. Bon, ça devrait aller. Alors on passe par là. On va là, après sur notre gauche et on rejoint le pont. Ok. Bah si on peut hein. J'espère qu'on peut. C'est parfait. Tout se passe comme prévu. Par contre, petit problème, c'est que je peux pas passer par là. D'accord. Bon. Faire tout le tour là, ça sert à rien. Petit chargement imprévu. Alors je vais juste retourner vite fait à l'hôpital parce que j'ai vu qu'il y avait un événement. Alors cet événement il est dans la cour, est-ce que je vois? Ouais, c'est ça. Okay.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Avons-nous encore...
Good evening, Doctor. How's...
What can you...
It's a description.
Là, y a rien. Ah.
Your son wished to die, Beatrice. Why did you hide such crucial information?
Are you not aware suicide is a crime? Mortimer could be thrown in jail. I can't let that happen. I won't.
I understand you fear the legal consequences, Mrs. Goswick. But don't you realize your silence significantly affects your son's case?
All my son needs is help and comprehension. Not judgment and punishment for what he may or may not have done.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
I'm okay.
C'est pas là, ça doit être là.
Admit it, Mortimer. Your mother had you hospitalized here because you tried to kill yourself.
Yes, it's true.
All right, then. This is the first time we've really shared information about your case. Shall we call this progress?
Call it what you want, Dr. Reed.
You can trust me. I won't report you to the authorities. My one and only concern is your health.
I guess I should thank you then.
Can I help you in any way, Mr. Goswick?
I wrote a letter for my mother. She was supposed to read it after my death. But I suppose she doesn't have to read it now.
I see. And is this letter still near the place where you tried to take your own life?
Yes. And I don't want anyone reading my last words. I mean, I'm still here. If you bring me back that letter, then perhaps we'll talk.
I have to go now, sir.
All right. Don't waste your time with me.
Alors, on a une quête par là. Bon là, malheureusement, cet événement, je ne vais pas pouvoir le faire pour l'instant. Je suis trop bas level. Là, c'est la quête principale. Je suis d'accord, mais j'y vais comment? Si je passe par là, ça va me faire prendre le pont là. Non, c'est ça. On va faire ça comme ça. Ça sera mieux.
It seems the Priwen are redoubling their patrols in the district. I must be more careful.
Best run along home, son. I hate
Ah, parfait. C'est gauche ou ah non? C'est à gauche. Oh ma vie. J'ai pas fait attention.
Crush the leech, boys!
Ouais, le gros, tuer, ça sera beaucoup plus simple. C'est beaucoup plus simple.
Vicious bugger! Watch it! It's a bastard!
Ils esquivent maintenant. Parfait. Continue comme ça. Par contre, j'entends me gueuler juste un peu plus haut. Ça le crie. Ouais, c'est lui. Esquive. Voilà. Merci. On va prendre mon petit endurance, ma petite endurance. Je l'ai eu. Parfait. Liste du docteur Strickland. Commande passée par le docteur Taureau Strickland. Ah putain. Ok.
Opium is one of the main ingredients of Strickland's medication. Never a good move.
Alors on est par où? On est par là, donc du coup il faudrait aller... Ok, par là peut-être, sur notre gauche. Peut-être un peu. Est-ce qu'on peut passer là? Ouais, on peut passer. Quelques trucs à fouiller, c'est parfait. On prend, hein, tout est bon à prendre.
Good evening, sir.
Who the fuck are you? Don't you see I'm busy here?
Dr. Jonathan Reed, that's who I am. And who are you?
Ah, some fancy gentleman we've got here. Clear off. We don't want strangers on our streets.
So you won't tell me your name, then?
The name is Booth Digby. Maybe I'll ask my boys to break one or two of your bones, just so you remember it.
Do you know where I can find Sean Hampton? I need to talk to him.
The sad saint. Why on earth do you want to talk to him?
He was one of my patients at the Pembroke Hospital.
Oh, yeah. I heard the poor bastard had been abducted by some cunt. You better ask Tom Watts. He knows Sean Hampton well.
Are you some kind of vigilante patrolling these streets at night?
Something like that, but the police aren't in charge here. We are, see?
So you're a concerned criminal, is that it?
Using funny jokes about me and my boys, are you? Fuck. You must have some balls.
I saw many men like you during the war, Mr. Digby. Greedy little cockroaches who feed on despair.
I could kill you for saying that. But, nah. You've been a soldier. I can respect that.
Mm-hmm. So, tell me about your gang, then.
What? Have you got a death wish? You really want me to answer that?
Well, yes. You seem so proud of your status. Why not tell me who you're working for?
Oi! I'm the boss, all right? The Wet Boot Boys work for me. All of them. Situation round here is better than other districts because of us. Because of me.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
Things ain't that bad, thanks to us. We give people what they need, and we control this borough.
Well, you're not doing a very good job. People are still dying here like everywhere else.
Yeah, well, we can't be everywhere all the time. And Edwina says if we can find more guns, we could be more efficient.
More efficient? Really? You should probably tell Edwina that guns are useless against diseases and infections.
Incredible. You know what? You're lucky she can't hear you right now. She's more smart than patient. My sweet queen of the docks.
Faut des indices, ok.
Goodbye, Mr. Digby.
Edwina, elle est là.
Good evening, miss. I am Dr. Reed. May I ask you a few questions?
Who are you? What do you want?
As I just told you, I'm a doctor. From the Pembroke Hospital, actually.
The Pembroke Hospital, you say? I don't have any money for you leeches.
I'm not here for charity, Miss...
Miss Edwina Cox. So what do you want then? Fancy buying something from me, maybe?
I'm looking for Mr. Sean Hampton. Do you know where I could find him?
The sad saint? I heard he was mugged or something.
Yes, he was. But he left hospital recently.
You don't say. Well, I suppose it's good news for the homeless and the useless. Ask them, they must know something.
You still use your husband's name, Edwina. Why is that?
Why shouldn't I? He may be a bloody bastard, but I'm still his wife and his name means something round here.
Are you aware of what happened to him?
Yes. I'm sure he fought till the end and looked death in the eyes. The boys will mourn him. Except one of them, maybe.
What can you tell me about your work?
I'm a businesswoman. I buy and sell things, and I send my wet boot boys after anyone who don't play nice with me.
Gang member and shopkeeper. Can't be easy running double shifts.
If you're interested, I may find use of a doctor who can freely walk across the city, you know.
You're quite blunt, aren't you?
I like people who know what they want and say what they think. This is a time of great opportunity for those ready to embrace their destiny.
I'm not interested in a career in the criminal underworld, Miss Cox.
Fair enough. Stay away from us then, if you don't want to get hurt or worse.
Since my return from the war, I don't feel that concerned by threats, knives, or even bullets, if you must know.
That's exactly what that stupid trade unionist claimed after he attacked one of us.
Elle va mourir.
Booth and I reminded him a bullet beats words every time.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
You can't trust
Elle veut mourir. Je crois
bien. As soon as you
bien.
lower your guard, you can be sure some arsehole will take advantage of you.
Really? Don't you think that's a little bit excessive?
Bastards, all of them. This region only responds to violence and threats.
You sound like you're thinking of somebody in particular.
Take the gravediggers of Southwark. They must pay me every week, but it looks like they forgot who gave them permission to steal from the dead.
Looting corpses in a mass grave. That is a new low.
Whatever. Hey, since you're a doctor and all, maybe you can access that forbidden area and remind those bastards what they owe.
What can you tell me?
I'm a
Est-ce
businessman.
qu'on avait
If
un
you're in...
autre indice? Non, du tout. Ok. Ah, voilà.
Booth Digby looks at you with love-struck eyes. Tell me, Edwina, is the feeling mutual?
You have no idea how refreshing it can be for a woman to receive all the pleasure she needs. For once.
I'll take your word for it.
What is it, Doctor? A woman's not supposed to talk about these things.
Alors, nous avons la solution de répondre. Je sens que vous avez le cœur tendre. Il en faut plus pour me choquer. Et je pense que vous l'avez manipulé. On va répondre à la troisième réponse. Je pense que vous l'avez manipulé.
I believe you manipulated Booth Digby to get everything you wanted from him. Both inside and outside the bedroom.
The poor bastard is good to me, if you must know. He makes me feel good. And that's a first.
So you're just like any other couple, after all, are you not?
Yeah, we're so ordinary that I'd put a bullet in his head if he ever cheated on me.
Sympathique.
Tell me about the man you and Booth killed, Edwina.
The bastard killed one of us and received retribution. There's nothing else to say.
And your conscience is clear. You kill without hesitation.
Violence is an efficient tool, Dr. Reed, when used properly.
So you decide who lives and who dies, just like that.
Yes, Doctor. Just like that. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm saying it's my way of dealing with troublemakers.
What happened exactly?
I don't know, and I don't care. One of ours was killed by that communist bastard, but he didn't brag for long.
So you have no idea what really happened, but you executed him anyway.
No one messes with the wet boot boys, Doctor. This is our territory, and this is our law.
Très bien, très
Goodbye,
bien.
Miss Cox.
Je crois que l'autre, j'avais débloqué un indice. Lui.
You again. What do you want?
Ouais, même deux.
Tell me
C'est parfait.
about the man you killed, Booth. What happened?
One of us had been killed, so we had to retaliate. That's the whole story.
There has to be more to it than that.
No, really. One of us got killed, so the killer had to die. That's how things have always been done round here. No one gives a shit.
Alors, on a trois choix de réponse. Vous n'avez donc pas de cœur, vous avez tort, et quelqu'un finira par vous tuer. Allez, quelqu'un finira par vous tuer. À juger, vendu.
Don't you see it's an endless
moi.
spiral?
Moi qui va
One
le tuer.
day it will be you who will be stabbed or shot or worse.
That's what my sweet Edwina always says, that one day I'll get it too. But she says it with the most beautiful smile, my Edwina.
Do you know Edwina suspects you to be unfaithful?
Edwina's the one who asked to be called Mrs. Cox, even though Clay hadn't touched her for such a long time.
You have not answered my question.
She's a passionate woman. I've no doubt she'll shoot me down if I ever betray her, but that's not going to happen. I love her as she is.
Okay.
Goodbye, Mr. Digby.
J'ai autre chose par là-bas. Ah, là aussi.
Mark my words. These murders
Not
are
a
the
drop
work
of blood left in his body. This is the work of a vampire.
I'm a tracker of these creatures.
J'arrive pas à
A
leur parler.
vampire hunter.
You best be off to your hunting then. For if the sewer dog is back and hunting all these poor folk, he needs a catching.
A sewer dog? What's it look like?
It's an old story. A monster with daggers for teeth and icy claws. He comes of a sudden, nighttime, claiming innocence, then vanishes.
Teeth, claws, murders by night? Your sewer dog is my business. He's the kind of prey I hunt, milady. Good evening, sir. Have you witnessed any suspicious activity or strange events recently? My name is Ichabod Throgmorton, vampire hunter extraordinaire and warden of the East End.
A vampire hunter? Really?
I know what you're thinking. I'm just another lunatic howling at the moon, but I'm not. The bloodsuckers exist, and they're close.
Mr. Throgmorton, I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'd like to hear more about these vampires you're hunting.
A man of science? Well, I'll be glad to enlighten you.
I'm looking for Sean Hampton. Can you help me, Mr. Throgmorton?
The sad saint? He should be at his night asylum at this hour, but I cannot tell you how to find it, sorry.
Really? Why is that?
It's nothing personal, Doctor. I'm sure your intentions are good, but people who sleep there, they have plenty of reasons to hide.
Maybe at least you can tell me who could help me find him.
Tell you what, go and chat with Tom Watts. He's a bartender and good judge of character. If he talks to you, then it's fine by me.
I could make you tell me, but I respect your refusal. You really believe Sean is a saint, don't you?
All I will say is this. Gossip has it that when he was a child, he was molested. By a priest of all people. Funny thing is, though, it only strengthened his faith.
What can you tell me about this neighborhood?
Did you hear about what happened to Jack Gillingham? Poor boy. It's a shame I wasn't around to protect him.
It's impossible to protect everyone. The violence seems endemic in this part of town.
But it's my duty. I am convinced Jack Gillingham was killed by a vampire. These evil rodents are spreading like a plague.
So, How exactly are you protecting these people? I'm curious.
I patrol late at night, investigating anything unusual. I try and encourage people to stay indoors, but people are careless.
How do you identify a vampire?
It's simple, really. They can't stand daylight. They're afraid of garlic and holy symbols. They also cannot enter a house without being invited.
Have you ever killed one of these creatures? Yourself, I mean.
Of course I have. What kind of question is that? It's a dirty business, believe me.
Can I help in any way?
Actually, yes. I plan to put up posters to alert the population to the vampire threat.
Are you asking me to paste posters about vampires around the docks?
If you wouldn't mind. If you did that, then I can focus on my patrols.
Have you heard of the Guard of Priwen?
Of course. They're dedicated hunters. A little militant for my taste, but they do let anyone join.
Were you ever tempted to join the Guard yourself?
I did think about it, but I'm more of a silent hunter. They're more of a sanitary militia.
So you hunt alone? That sounds risky.
Vampires are just like every other predator. They hunt when they're hungry and follow certain patterns. It's just a matter of observation and patience.
Bon bah voilà, on a terminé.
Goodbye.
Monsieur, ce chasseur de vampires. Ah mais on est au bar là. Oui exact, on est au bar. Hey, je vais lui donner un petit médicament.
Good evening, sir.
Whatever.
Don't
take it personally. I spent a lot of energy forgetting what I did the night before.
Yes, you had definitely drunk too much then as well. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I'm Dyson Delaney. I'll try to remember you. This time.
Inebriation aside, do you need medical help?
Yes. I feel sicker than usual these days.
Take this, then. And perhaps you could try to slow down the alcohol intake, too.
Hey, Doc, you don't really want me to stop the only remedy I can afford.
I'm looking for Mr. Sean Hampton. Do you know where I could find him?
I really don't know. I heard he'd been abducted. I don't know if he's back.
Who could tell me, then?
About the sad saint? I'll try asking Tom what's about him.
Est-ce qu'on a débloqué quelque chose en plus
Is there anything in particular that you like about this part of town? Except for the cheap drinks, I mean.
How dare you say such a thing? I love this neighborhood. So friendly. So joyful.
Why are you so cynical?
Cynicism is the polite way to express despair, Doctor.
No reason at all to rejoice, then? Life is hopeless and then we die, is that it?
Let me tell you a story.
All right. Go on.
A few years ago, when I believed a resolute man could change things around here for good, a tragedy occurred nearby.
What kind of tragedy?
It was a bomb. Bomb that exploded and killed many people. Metal and blood everywhere. Shouts, fire, broken window of the shoe shop, the torn street light.
You lost people you loved that day, didn't you?
I've lost everything. But you know what the worst part is? I don't even remember where it happened. I've drunk so much to forget it, and now I can't remember where it was. I can't pay my homage to the dead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Delaney.
It's okay. If you ever find the place, just leave a flower for me there. Even if you tell me where it is, I'm not sure I'd memorize it.
Is there anything in particular that you like about
Pas mal
this
de
part?
nouvelles quêtes en fait.
Except for the cheap drinks, I mean.
How dare you say such a thing? I love this neighborhood. So friendly. So joyful.
No reason at all to rejoice, then? Life is hopeless and then we die, is that it?
Let me tell you a story.
Another time.
Allez, une autre fois.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Delaney?
I drink. I drink in the morning and at noon. I drink at night. And then I drink some more.
Why do you drink so much?
Maybe it's because I prefer dying slowly. Death can be so abrupt. Personally, I like to see mine coming at my own pace.
You sound very sad, sir.
That's because I am, Doc.
Don't you work at all?
I'd love to, but I don't have the time. Didn't I tell you? Drink in the morning and at noon. I drink at night.
Surely you must have had dreams and expectations when you were young, like everybody else.
Sure. I wanted things to change. To really change, and to change for good. The bigger the dream, the harder the fall.
Do you really think the world is that bad?
No, I believe we all can choose to make it better. But most of us are too weak, too corrupt and too guilty. I failed for sure, but others will come.
Sounds like you were an idealist, which is honorable.
No, sir. I was an anarchist and I believed that exclusive property is a robbery in nature. I wanted a new world to rise from the ashes, Dr. Reed.
I want to know more about your past as an anarchist, Dyson.
I'm still an anarchist, Doctor, make no mistake. I just reject violence as a tool to change the world, unlike my comrades.
Do you believe in a bloodless revolution, then?
I do not believe in much anymore, Doctor. But I'll admit I like your idea of peaceful change. I like it a lot.
Do you still see your comrades, then? Even if you don't agree with their methods anymore, I mean.
No. I hope they'll come to share my point of view one day. I'll raise my glass to that splendid idea.
Goodbye, Mr. Delaney.
I think I'm losing my mind. I should just run as far away from this place.
Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, sir. How are you tonight? Back to the docks, are we?
You remember me, then?
Of course I do. You're that man who seemed so lost when he entered my bar a few nights ago.
Thank you for your hospitality. I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way.
I'm still Tom Watts. Welcome back, Doctor.
Tom, I need to find Sean Hampton as quickly as possible. I've been told you could help me.
I heard the sad saint was recovering at Pembroke Hospital. Did he leave or something?
The important thing is I find him, quickly.
Why not try his night asylum? He takes care of those who need a meal or a roof there.
Where is it?
It's in an old warehouse, northwest of here. Just follow the bank to the west and go north when you reach the end of the pier.
I believe he returned to his flock. Can you confirm that?
Oh, I bet you're right. Sean can't help but worry about the poor and sick. Oh, I guess it has something to do with what happened to him as a baby.
Please, tell me.
Well, I don't like to gossip, but I heard that the sad saint was abandoned as a baby in front of a Catholic orphanage in Dublin. That would explain his faith and need to help everyone.
Ok. On n'a pas plus d'informations sur lui, non. Ok.
Goodbye, Mr. Wall.
Merci à lui. Ah, ils me disent pas vraiment où sont les quêtes, ça c'est une problématique.
Good evening, madam. I'm Dr. Reed. Could I come in?
Why? What do you want?
I work at the Pembroke Hospital. I'm investigating the flu epidemic in this area.
Oh, the Spanish flu. Well, that's quite liberal of you, Doctor. But this is no time to be knocking at people's doors.
The disease takes away the good people too, madam. Why not let me in?
J'adore ce pouvoir de persuasion.
Stella Fishburne. And yes, indeed. Why not let a doctor in? I can't remember the last time I had a good sleep. I've been nothing but worry. So you have questions about the flu, then?
Yes, among other things.
Forgive my rudeness at the door. It's just my son doesn't like strangers coming in the house.
I'm trying to locate Mr. Sean Hampton. Do you know where he could be?
You talking about the one everyone calls the sad saint? The man who takes care of the homeless?
The very same, Miss Fishburne.
I'm sorry. I don't know where his shelter is. But if you ask around, I'm sure you'll get your answer.
I'm trying to locate...
You talking about...
The very
Voilà,
same...
je me suis trompé. C'est ça que je voulais faire.
How is life around here?
Life has always been hard in the East End. But it's everywhere nowadays, isn't it?
Do you think the increase in violence has anything to do with the epidemic?
Don't know. But it's most likely linked to the gangs, if you ask me. Recently, it's like everyone has had to pick a side.
Violence has always fed on poverty, don't you think? It's a cruel law of the human condition.
And selfishness is their rotten fruit. These days, you can just die in the gutter, and no one will bat an eye.
May I ask what you do for a living, Mrs. Fishburne?
Since my husband died, I worked at the Dawson Rope factory, but it closed before the war. I occasionally help at the night asylum, in exchange for food.
How do you pay the rent, then?
My Seymour works at the docks, just like his dad. He's very attached to the house he grew up in. It's not always easy, but we get by all right.
Did your husband die in the war?
Oh no. My Jack was a docker. He died when my Seymour was just a lad. The poor boy saw his dad slip and fall from that scaffolding.
Okay.
Goodbye, Miss Fishburne.
Ouais.
Take care of yourself.
Elle est pas malade, non, elle est en bonne santé.
Just
Ça
realised
tient.
in the back of that head, sir.
Voilà les amis, on va se quitter ici pour ce 6e épisode de ce let's play de Vampyr. C'était Molian pour la chaîne Skole Gaming. N'hésitez pas, si vous avez aimé, à rejoindre la chaîne YouTube, de vous abonner. ça nous soutiendrait, ça nous ferait plaisir. Puis n'hésitez pas à donner vos commentaires si vous avez des petites choses que vous avez vues qui nous permettent de nous améliorer. Voilà, ben, je souhaite vous remercier à tous. Merci, merci. Allez, ciao ciao tout le monde.